Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
One Shoe Edna, not the sponsor of the guest of the day, as we bring in from Edmonton. He's doing the broadcast, Buffalo and Edmonton, tonight in the NHL. NHL Analyst, co-host of the Bob McCown podcast, John Shannon. How are you, sir? Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, same to you, boys. Yeah, and I don't have to add an O to my name. Shannon's a good Irish name. So.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you know, my grade 3 teacher used to remind me to stop talking. She would always tell me that the mouth of the Shannon is 15 miles wide. So.
Okay.
Anyway, so I tune into the show. I always tune in the half hour before I go on.
Thank you.
And I had and I was feeling guilty today because from last week where I brought up Yara Halak's name, and I vowed today not to bring up Yara Halak's name because Donnie was rolling his eyes. Oh, not Halak again. And then I tuned in 20 minutes ago, and all you guys are talking about is Yara Halak.
He brought him up, and 2 days ago he said, "Don't you dare talk about him again."
And while I'm pushing for Halak in goal against Calgary on Saturday, go with your stud in a game that you have to win against Buffalo. If you lose 4-3 to Calgary, maybe in overtime, that's okay. You can't lose that game against Buffalo or the game tonight against Detroit. That's just me.
And I tell you what, don't take Detroit lightly. I know you said that they're not very good, but they've had two of the worst first periods I've seen in my lifetime. The last two games, one in Calgary where they had a single shot on goal, and the other night here where it was 3-0 before the 4:35 mark of the first period. But they skate and work hard, and they are fast. And do not be surprised that they push the Canucks tonight, particularly without Pettersson in the lineup.
Do you think Steve Yzerman has them headed in the right direction, John?
I do. I tell you what, you'll enjoy watching Lucas Raymond, and I tell you what, that Morris Sider,
so good.
He is a stud. He'll be the Calder Trophy winner this year. He is a stud. He reminds me of Miro Heiskanen, the Dallas defenseman. He can skate, got big range. He's fun to watch.
We're getting back to the Canucks goaltending situation. Where do you stand on playing or maybe overplaying your stud as you fight for a playoff spot, with fatigue in mind?
I think it's a fair question. I actually look at two teams in that realm. I think that Winnipeg is doing a similar scenario with Connor Hellebuck and overplaying him, and Eric Comrie not getting enough action in Winnipeg. But at the same time, and you touched on it, Donnie, is that Bruce. Bruce has got the pedal to the floor. He is gunning for every single point. So if he feels and Thatcher feels that he can play back to back, I wouldn't be surprised to see Demko play both games on the weekend. I really wouldn't, particularly if the Canucks do beat Detroit tonight, and they know where they sit in the standings. Vegas is not playing well. They have 9 regulars out of the lineup. So this is an opportunity for Vancouver, as it is for a couple teams in the West, to make some hay.
Okay, John, so here we are 4 days to the deadline. Pretty quiet in the Canucks camp. They are 1 point out of the playoffs. Are you hearing anything concerning any trades in Vancouver?
No, I'm not. Other than what I would tell you is that as what we've seen in the last couple of days is the value of defensemen seems to be getting high or higher. Yeah. Josh Manson to Colorado, Ben Sherratt to Florida. So if you feel, if you're the manager of the Canucks or the president of hockey operations of the Canucks, if you feel that you have an excess of defensemen or are prepared to take a chance on some of your younger guys to play, then you might dangle a few of those guys out there, like a Poolman, who has, let's face it, been disappointing. Tyler Myers, big ticket. Might he lure something in? When you see the prices right now, Ben Sherratt to go for a first-round pick. Florida obviously is all in, but Kent Hughes did a pretty good job in that deal, and he's done a pretty good job with both of the trades because he's got 2 first-round picks back.
Yeah. Quickly, I want to get into Tyler Mott. You know what? Here he could be the guy, though. John, out of everybody, although I hear the Canucks, they want a high pick for him, and they're not going to do it. If it's a late round, second round pick or a third, they're not going to do it. But this playoff spot, John, as we've alluded to, they could be in the playoffs by the end of tonight. Mm-hmm. How much is that playing a factor? Because if you're the owner of this team, you haven't had a ton of playoff revenue in the last 10 years. You have a shot at it this year.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that right now, Jim Rutherford holds the keys to the car. Yeah. And if Jim feels that they're better off doing a bit of a tweak to this club with a trade, and still, keep the core enough that they can still play through the rest of the regular season and come close, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. You're right about, and every Canadian owner's in this situation. Every team is trying to get to that marker of the postseason, because it's so much money on an individual night. We're talking, in Vancouver, I would estimate about $3 million a home game. That's a lot of money when you have lost as much as you have. I mean, NHL teams over the last 2 years have lost probably $90 to $100 million. Wow. In Canada. It has been so severe for them. Now, are they going to get it back over the extent of the collective bargaining agreement? Yes, they are. But at the same time, if you can inject, a pretty good lump of cash with 3 home dates, could be close to $10 million, you'd be wise to do it.
Yeah. John, much of the talk in Vancouver today has to do with Thomas Hertl's contract down in San Jose. Sharks lock him up at 8.13 per over 8 years. So the comparables to JT Miller. Does JT Miller for 8 years, over $8 million, does that sound about right?
Well, if I was his agent, I'm going to say no. It's low. Yeah. But I think 8 times 8 sounds pretty good. And what has to be measured and I don't think it's going to be measured now, because I think he's just been too valuable to this club the last 3 months, is his appetite to want to stay long term. He can say the right things publicly. The team can say the right thing publicly. But behind closed doors, it might be a different story. I'm not suggesting that I know that it is. It's not. But what you have to do is ascertain whether he really enjoys playing in BC and playing for the Canucks. And then you can sit down and try to hammer out a Hertl-like deal. Mm-hmm.
One more, John. You mentioned Vegas. 9 regulars out. Robin Leonard's hurt. Mark Stone, key players. Is that all about injuries in Vegas? Their lack of success?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It is. And don't forget, they haven't had Alex Martinez on the blue line for, I think, about 4 months now. He took a skate to the face. Vicious. And they're hoping to get him back as well. So from that perspective, and by the way, Jack Eichel's been a pretty good player for them. Mm-hmm. He has done what he was supposed to do. He's just got right now. It almost feels like he's back in Buffalo because he's got nobody to play with, and that becomes the problem. Pacioretty's back, but how healthy is Max really? So that becomes the issue in Vegas. I looked at their roster. When they played Winnipeg on Tuesday night, and there were 4 guys I had never heard of. Mm-hmm. And you're going, holy smokes, with everything that this club has done to try to do, to be aggressive, to be at the top of the heap all the time, making trades. They got themselves into a real bit of a pickle because of injuries. So it's a tough spot.
Okay. I have to admit this. When you mentioned the mouth of the Shannon, I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay. The River Shannon, and thanks for this, John. The River Shannon, the longest, it's in Ireland, the longest river in the British Isles.
There you go.
I did. So hockey talk and a geography lesson. It doesn't get better than that.
Well, I tell you what, so I feel good because my dad was a geography teacher.
Perfect.
And so, what in the old days, when transatlantic flights, Gander to Shannon, from Newfoundland, Ireland, that's where the flights would go, Gander to Shannon. Shannon has a big international airport because it was the first port of call in Europe.
Wow. Do I have to pay you extra for this, John?
Well, it might
We'll
be
take
nice.
we'll take it out of Dollywell's salary.
No. Tell you what, just buy Rick treats on Monday, and I'll be happy. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a pizza. A pizza after the show is fine, John.
Above and beyond, John.
You can't be eating pizza, Rick. Come on.
Oh, hey.
Get
I'm
a
on
fruit tray.
I'm
Get
on
a fruit tray.
I'm on a strict diet. My pizza days
We
are
all
over.
are.
Yeah.
Except for you, John. You're looking great.
Cheers.
Thanks,
All
John.
right.
And again, happy St. Patrick's Day.